Welcome back, friends, to Max Q Barbecue. My name is Craig, and this episode is 2024 Mason Dixon Barbecue Camp Ribs and Chicken. So come along for episode 9, season 3, and we're going to have this one's going to be on the ribs, and we're going to do another one. Episode 10 is going to be on our chicken. So stick around and stay tuned, and we're going to show you how to make some ribs.
All right, guys, go get some breakfast so we can get this thing started.
All right, Ethan, tell us what we got for breakfast this morning.
All right, it's delicious so far. You got a bacon wrapped egg cup type dish. Very savory, delicious.
It looks like it's got little prosciutto, ham or something right there.
Yep. And then I don't know how you describe this, but it's a pizza with gravy and cheese and mushrooms.
Yeah, and there were some eggs in there, scrambled eggs in there, and then some fruit.
Yeah, fruit with your
Hot pocket.
Ooh,
yeah.
Good cream inside it too.
Awesome for breakfast, man.
Delicious.
Because like even in competition, when you do competition ribs and you turn those in, you're all right, no flies today. And you turn those in, they go through. So when if you guys are ever going to do competition, like this would be a terrible competition rack.
This is better.
Yeah, because all the bones go sideways on you.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're looking for something where the bones are going to be straight up. And most of the times when you guys watch those TV shows and they're turning in competition ribs, they are using that section of the ribs. That's tasting and that's tasting. And that section of the ribs, that's why they cook 6 racks of ribs to turn in 6 individual ribs in competition. Because they want to find the one ribs that look exactly like, and they all line up the same height.
And I don't know if you ever thought about it or not, but when they're doing competition ribs, the processor knows that that's what we're doing. So they make sure to cut this further out.
Well, see, because the competition, really, you guys, you're thinking like when they buy it from like Mr. Brisket or from the guys that do the Wagyu, Snake River or whatever. You think they're cutting them different?
Snake River Farms, they're taking care of business.
Really, they didn't do it when I competed. I wonder if they do it now. Oh, do they?
Definitely does.
Absolutely, they know that's what they're doing.
You have to order it, so it's competition.
Competition style.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, we had some money.
Yeah.
But that's the way it works.
Is the difference between the first one and the second one, like, are they cut in half? What happens?
Oh.
Okay, so they come from a different part of the pig. Is that what you're asking? Is that the question that you're asking?
Yeah.
So if you remember,
so this was the first one.
This is the pork chops.
And then this was the second one.
And this is the bacon.
Yeah. Okay.
So they are joined,
They're
actually.
joined, they're cut in half.
Yes.
Right. So this is the spine. This is the back of the pig.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then this is this one's up at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that one comes down below and comes back in under.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll get you a picture. I got a picture of that. It's like really good.
And the other thing
really
is,
does explain it. It's hard to visualize.
the man with the well saw.
Yeah.
You know what a well saw looks like? A big jigsaw.
Yeah.
That's for meat. He is actually doing a judgment call here. He is the man that's pulling loins out. Is the highest paid man in the whole processing floor. You'd think it would be the guy that kills the animal or whatever, but it's not. It's the guy that makes the money. Beef too. He's the guy that makes the money. It's hanging there, and he's making a judgment call that this rib is 7 inches long.
And what's the big name of them? The different pieces?
So this is a baby back rib.
Okay.
And this would be a St. Louis rib now, or a flat rib.
Okay.
Or a whole rib.
It's the back. Okay.
A spare. It's called a spare rib.
Perfect.
So and
baby
then the
back
cut.
rib.
Yeah, the cut is the St. Louis, but the whole thing that we started with is called the spare.
Okay.
And then this is the baby back.
Okay.
Does not come from a baby pig. It's all from the same place. No, you're laughing.
But it's the back.
No, I've had that
It's
question
the
lots
back.
of times. Actually.
And that doesn't mean you can take it back. Hey, look.
Yeah.
So he made it.
Yeah, he did. I mean, they're really thick.
They are nice.
Hey, can somebody grab me a chicken?
Oh, and
And a cutting board, please.
Multiple ways of doing this, but we're going to go ahead and do this my way instead of Eric's way.
It's all right.
Eric likes to put mustard on his hands and put. No, we're not doing any of that. All right. So, binders. Different binders. We use mustard here in a class. Eric seems to think that there's science involved, that there's vinegar, and vinegar opens up your pores. So, for those of you who wear makeup, you can do that, I guess. I don't know. But mustard, you can use oil. Just a little bit of oil. Some people use water, and whatever works for you. We've heard people use mayonnaise. I would caution you against that. Don't use mayonnaise. Mayonnaise maybe on beef, not on pork. All right. So something very simple. You don't need a whole lot. No, it's. Shake up your mustard so you get water. And you only need a little bit. Okay, just as a binder. That's all you're doing.
Real thin one.
Real thin. You're not painting with this. You're just adding a little extra to it so you can make your rub stick to it, okay? Now, multiple ways. We're going to go ahead and do flavor layering. All right, I'm going to use 2 rubs. You guys can use up to 3 if you want. Some people use all of them. I don't. There's no judgment here. No judgment.
All right, so I normally don't go more than 3 rubs deep. All
Tell your story.
I think it comes out. Mushy. When
Yeah,
you do that.
I agree. We're going to do 2. Okay, we're going to use an SPG. All right, SPG first. That's going to allow whatever you put on top of it to pop. Everything pops with salt, right? Salt and pepper makes everything taste great. We're going to do a light layer on the bottom.
And you notice how he's high off the meat?
Yep.
All right, and going back and forth.
All right, I'm not adding a whole lot to the bottom. Okay. And now,
So you're not gonna look for full coverage.
not full coverage on the bottom, just adding for extra flavor. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and add to our seasoning, and I'm using raspberry chipotle. If you haven't tried this raspberry chipotle, I would highly recommend everyone try it and buy it when because the store's open.
Yeah. Sorry, is
All right.
All right, I'm not doing a whole lot here. So, in barbecue competitions, and Eric will attest to this, when you equate this to a Pringles chip, right? When I get this across my plate at a comp, the first thing I'm tasting is what? The bottom of the top of the rib. Bottom of the rib. So you're going to layer your flavors in the way you want that judge to taste that rib. If you want that judge to taste hot first, I'm going to change it up. I might do an SPG and I'm going to put the hot. Right? I'm going to taste that first, and then as I bite the rest of it, I'm getting the flavors of everything else involved. So it's very important in the competition circuit. Here, same thing. You're going to taste this first. Right? Same at home. All right, but that's the bottom. Top. Eric likes to put it in his hands. I don't. Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to do it wrong, do it wrong.
All right. Now.
He didn't put a lot on there. That's
No.
that's the
That's
trick.
the thing.
You
I'm
don't want
not-
it to be yellow. You want a sheen.
Yeah. I'm not layering it on like people will go ahead and make, you're making a sandwich, a blondie sandwich. We're not doing that, okay? Just enough to give it that looks extra to hold that rub on there. So now I've got 2 dirty hands, right?
Yep.
So what we can do, and if Steve's so inclined, we'll show you a little trick on how to keep your bottles clean. Okay. Or you can wrap a towel around it or whatever, okay? I'm gonna wipe these bottles down after I'm done, but I'm just coming to grab it. So again, my SPG, I'm gonna go a little heavier on the top this time, right? And I'm high up off the meat.
What is SPG stand for?
Salt, pepper, garlic. All right.
So I got 2 questions really quickly. You're putting down the mustard as a binder. What are your thoughts on no binder and letting it adhere over like with time?
So it will eventually do that, but the binder allows it to set that much quicker on the rib.
Okay.
Okay, you're not going to taste the mustard.
Right.
You don't taste it. It's just there to help adhere it. People have used water.
Okay.
You can use oil. It's just to help adhere it to the rib.
Okay.
My thought on the mustard too is the mustard has vinegar in it.
Yep. Helps
The
open the
vinegar
pores.
helps open up the pores,
Got it.
and the pores will allow then that the rub to actually get more penetration.
Okay.
So I had a guy that worked for me for forever, Tyler, and Tyler we'd always argue about it on everything because he didn't like to use mustard. But Tyler did competition, and whenever he did competition, he always used mustard. And I'm like, well, so why would you use mustard in competition and not use mustard on your regular one? Well, you know. I'm like, well, okay. So it's just, I don't know, but you don't have to. You can do like an oil layer on there if you wanted to, or something like that. But I think that the mustard allows the rub to go into the meat.
Right. And you'll find all the competition teams with all the tricks that you see. When you walk around and watch them, everyone will do them up.
Okay.
All right.
And then quick follow-up question. What about injections? What are your thoughts on that?
So for home, Eric, I'm not going to which way with this, right? For home, I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it either.
If for competition, a lot of the teams do inject.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for home,
Not really.
fine.
If you have more time on your hands and you know what to do with it,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna inject these. I
And you
will
sell
tell you,
injection in the store?
we do. So yeah, we'll work that way. But I gotta tell you that I don't know. I shouldn't say that because last time I competed out here, I didn't do as well as I had hoped, Marvin.
Because you didn't inject.
And two of the other teams injected, and my team and another team did not inject, and so it's possible that the injection came into play there. But I gotta say that for home use, it's
For home, I wouldn't bother.
again, if you really want to get into it, you want to get into the ins and outs. Like when Craig makes a podcast and wants to inject his ribs, have at it. Okay, but for practical purposes,
Yeah, but at the end of the day, for home, for everyone that's going home with this idea that they want to go ahead and inject, at the end of the day, everyone here likes what kind of ribs? Little tug or fall off the bone? Most of them, yeah. Okay, those are overdone.
yeah.
So even if you inject, it doesn't matter if they fall off the bone,
Oh.
right? So just go with what we're showing you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't try the injection. We'll be more
Or
than happy
buy
to sell
injection.
you. Yeah, we'll be more than happy to sell it to you for you to try it. All right.
Now, what is he
also
not
sell
doing? What's the one
injectors.
thing he's not doing?
Rubbing.
He's not rubbing it in. Okay? And don't. I mean, guys will do that on YouTube all day long, but don't pat it in. You're going to clog your pores up, and then you're not going to get the penetration that you want to have.
All right, so this one I'm going to do a little bit of hot. And so just so you know, it's not hot. It's just a little bit of a bite and then it goes away. All right. There's nothing that we have here that's going to flame you out.
Another pro tip that you
Leave
want
that
to
bottle
do,
on.
whatever
It's not-
you
it's not
put on
good.
your
It's like a
ribs,
free maybe.
chicken,
It's, yeah,
take
it's on
a
the back
photo
end.
of it,
And so
or
it's like
write
that
it
sweetness up
down,
front.
because if not, you're going to want to try to duplicate that. And if you don't remember, there's 2 million rubs in the store,
Yeah.
and you come back, you're going to say, I want the one I put on my ribs. Well, help us out here a little bit. So take notes, got your phone, take pictures of what you use.
Or don't.
Or
Come in
don't.
the
And then
store
keep
and buy
buying
it.
it. Yeah. And keep buying it. There you
I have a
go.
guy came here like 15 years ago. Colin, well, actually, it was 15 years ago. He was here like 11 years ago. He was my poster child for what not to do. And he
10
did a
rubs
brisket,
later.
and he used 4 different injections and like 6 rubs, I think it was, 8 rubs. And we stopped the class.
Whatever was on the table, right?
No, right, everything was on table. And I was like, okay, so don't do what Colin just did. It'll probably be a great brisket. It was by far the best brisket in the class. Okay, and I mean, it was phenomenal. But he never wrote down anything. He'll chase that brisket for the rest of his life. It'll be his white buffalo. I mean, yeah. He's got to be a good cook. He comes in here every now and then, still has the original list of all the stuff, of all the rubs and stuff like that. He just doesn't know which ones he used.
Now this one I'm doing 3. I'm doing my SPG. Why do we use SPG? Brings out the overall flavor. Now I'm doing a little bit of a hot. Okay? And I'm going to add my sweet rub on top of that. No more than 3. I mean, we'll sell you as many as you want.
Do you spice it different if you're trying to end with a wet rib versus a dry rib?
Not really, because it's wet rib versus dry rib is just either I put sauce on it or I don't.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
at
the
the
difference.
end, you'll put more rub on it on
Yeah.
the dry rib at the very end. And if you wanted to do a dry rib, we would do you do a really fine powder at the very end.
That's
A
right.
dusting or a finishing
dusting,
rub.
finishing rub,
whatever.
Are we doing dry or wet?
You can
Your
choose.
choice.
Oh.
That's your
So
Too
for
many
me personally at home, I do all dry, and then if the family wants to add sauce, they can add sauce because they're very out of the package. When you do all this today, out of the package, you're doing everything with. If you watch your table, you're doing everything with butter, honey, brown sugar, and you're going to use some apple juice. So just by proxy of using those, they're flavorful to begin with. So it's up to you if you want to add sauce to it.
Sure.
Right?
But
So
one of the tricky things is that we sell sauces in the
I
store.
know.
Actually, one of my favorite things to do is actually the rib glazes. Like we were just talking about
Oh, that
Like
habanero one.
and those
Apple
are like a
habanero.
liquid jelly as opposed to like a heavy sauce, and they are phenomenal.
Apple habanero. If you're asking and you want to buy one, that's a favorite.
Yeah, and that's when you get, and that's when you add heat to it. So like the hot rubs aren't really hot.
It's
And
not
then add
though.
a little bit of heat to it.
I did that on a ham.
Yeah, the apple habanero.
It is not. It's warm, but
Pineapple,
it's
the
not
pineapple
hot.
Pineapple's good.
All right. So now, how much mustard are we using?
Just a little bit.
All of it. Just enough to coat it.
I tell you what, we tell people this in classes. We'll go out through the tables, and somebody's like rib has enough like mustard on it to like
A blondie sandwich.
Get it off.
All right. So again, just enough to cover it.
I know, right.
What am I adding first?
SPG.
How much am I adding on the bottom?
Light.
Just a light coat, right?
Yes.
How much am I adding on the top? A little heavier coat, right?
Pringles chip.
I have.
Okay.
But not for the most part. I mean, if you're someplace saying they don't really need to
Use the meat
The worst
shirts
case
and then
scenario,
No, I would say So when I'm adding the rub, how much am I adding on the top?
Other than
A lot more. I'm kind of covering it, right?
But I do like.
When I'm finished with this, I'll show you what I'm doing.
I do press it out. If I see anything,
You don't necessarily have to go ahead and
something like that, I might
pick up the rib and do all. No,
For the most
just
part,
to the top,
I mean, I
okay?
really do feel them.
Can you just like
I was
scoop
wondering.
up the
I want them to
excess
look a certain way.
to like save?
So,
No.
Like,
That's
We
why we
sell
have-
rubs
We
here.
sell rubs here. We sell rubs.
Economical.
All right. So now what you looking for? Is looking
You
for
use that, we can't sell you more rubs.
So when it's all said and done, you start to see how it's starting to set up here, right? Starting to wick in a little bit.
but yeah, it's something you got.
After it sits for a little bit, it's going to start turning nice and wet, pulling the moisture out of the top layer of the rib, and everything's starting to meld together, right? And you're starting to see that on this other one now. Same thing, starting to get nice and wet. Okay. So for me at home, I make my ribs about an hour, 2 hours ahead of time. Right. That's just me. And then while I'm getting them smoking ready to go. Eric, when do you make your ribs?
I season them right then. I let them sit for about 15-20 minutes, and then
So I do mine about an hour, sometimes 2 hours. I let them sit.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do
That's
them the
just
night
me.
before. If you do them the night before, sometimes they'll turn out salty.
Yeah, they get hammy.
Yeah.
Because all that salt and everything else helps return it. And salt does what? It's a preservative, right? So I do mine about an hour, sometimes 2 hours.
Yeah.
These 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. The big thing is making sure that it sets up before you put on a smoker, okay? And if you're looking for it, it's getting wet.
So you want that wet look before
We're
it
getting
gets
that
hot.
wet look before going smoker, okay? Any questions on what we just did here?
Nope.
Any benefits to seasoning and letting it sit overnight in the fridge?
Yeah.
Get hammy,
Oh, benefit? No, it's a negative.
It's a negative. Salt's a preservative, right?
Right.
So it's gonna when you start doing it, it's gonna preserve it. So turn into a ham.
Okay, got
Getting
it.
a hammy taste, it won't be good.
Okay.
All right.
Is there a reason we should season the spare ribs different from the baby back? Is there a benefit?
Other than the fact that you might want to try different rubs,
Yeah.
different flavor
No, that's
profiles
it.
and stuff like that.
Okay.
And this is a perfect opportunity to do that. You guys getting 2 racks of ribs. I wouldn't do them both the same. I would play with it a little bit.
Only at
So
that
you know what to buy in the store.
Well, just so that you know what your flavor profile is going to be. Because, I mean, you know, we've got a fruit rub out here, we've got a honey rub out here, we've got a hot rub out here. You know, so there are a lot of different ways.
They
Like
all
with pork in
taste-
general, you can go savory, you can go honey sweet, you can go brown sugar sweet, you can go fruit sweet. Okay, and then you can throw different levels of heat to that. So find your flavor profile, and then even if you don't buy rubs in the store,
Yeah.
nevertheless,
Yep.
you can find your flavor profile and you can duplicate that. The idea is that you come here and you can duplicate something that you like.
That's right.
Take pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I can't stress enough. Whatever you use in your ribs, take pictures of it. If you don't like it, delete the picture.
Oh, keep the picture
So you know what not to buy, right? But that's it. So, any other questions before I send you on your way?
Rachel, one of the things you
Alright.
could do is ask them dry or wet.
Mhm.
Do one of each.
Yeah.
Yeah, see what you like.
Yeah.
All right. Go back to your tables.
But anyhow, we sell the GMGs, the GMG pellet cooker. They've just come out with their new line. It's called the 2.0. We've got one of those in the line back over here. And then we also sell the Yoder pellet cooker, made in America. And it is probably the best pellet cooker made on the market out there today. All right, we've got the Big Green Eggs up on the front end here. So we sell Big Green Eggs. They're Kamada style cooker. They are ceramic. They're insulated. Back over here, we're gonna get to the offsets. So we've got 4 different kinds of offsets sitting over here. We have what we call a gravity-fed unit. Okay. We have a Texas style, what we call an Old Country Pits Brazos. We've got the Old Country Pits Gen 2, and then we have a Meadow Creek back over here. We have bigger ones as well, which we don't have out. But these are all offset pits. And an offset pit, when I'm building a fire over here, to heat up a cooking chamber over here. So my fire is offset from where my cooking chamber is. All right, even that gravity fed works the same way. That gravity fed, I'm gonna put hot charcoal down that chute. Okay, it's gonna go right down that chute right there. Okay, it's gonna sit down in the bottom, and then that heat from over there is gonna go over into the cooking chamber right next to it. All right, and then it's gonna come up through the meats, and it's gonna come out. Okay, inefficient as hell. It's great. We got a backward smoker, we got a 270 smoker. We also have something called a blue body, the same as a backward smoker. Those are competition units. All right, so they're fully insulated. Again, not affected by outside temperature or moisture at all. Those actually work with what we call a forced downdraft system. You'll see the opening at the very top. Okay, the actually opening for that is on the very bottom, inside of the cook chamber itself. So all the heat and smoke come up through the outside, up to the top, can't get out, goes all the way back down through the meat. Okay, in order to get out through most of the openings on the bottom of the chamber. In the meantime, you also have the water pan down there as well. You have steam coming up, mixing in with that heat and smoke coming down. Okay, anybody that cooks on those street smokers, okay, will get done about with this 45 minutes before everybody else. With a brisket, about an hour to an hour. That's why we're cooking. Next to that, we have something really popular called Knuckle Drum Smoker. These are called K4Ls. They're actually made in Texas as well. I really like them. We just got it in this year. This is a direct fired smoker. I've got a fire directly below where I'm cooking. And it has this really cool little shield in there. And that shield that goes in there forces a whirlwind. And again, forces the convection. Forces the air to go around the circle before it comes out through the top. All right, that's pretty cool. We just started cooking on that this year. I really like it. Very easy to control. It took a long time for it. So a little bit of fun. Next to that up here is the Weber Smoked Mountain. The WS7 is the #1 smoker sold in the country. We don't sell them anymore because I'm not a big Weber fan. The company itself is probably going to go bankrupt the next 2 years. It's just a terrible run company. But anyhow, somebody will buy them though, and they'll be fine. But those things are direct fired water smoker as well. Fire bowl or fire down in the bottom, water bowl, then 2 racks. The heat comes up, hits the water bowl, comes around, comes into the dome, mixes its way through before it comes out through the vent itself. Okay? And then last but not least, over here we have Weber's best invention in the last 30 years that they don't talk about. It's called a Weber Charcoal Summit. It's Weber's answer to the Big Green Egg. They're less expensive, not a whole lot less expensive. They're a little bit less expensive, but fully insulated. They're made of metal that is also fully insulated as well. You can smoke on it, bake on it, grill on it, all that kind of stuff. But they only weigh about 100 pounds. Okay, so they're a lot less weight than what those are. These have a lifetime warranty. That has a 10-year warranty.
Let me get a close up of the tip. Hold it up a little bit. Fire it up. It's like a little electric arc. Okay, you're ready. Light them up. Got one more.
You ready? You get the corner.
I found the corner works the best.
All right. What are you cooking on, Steven?
Cooking on a offset.
You're cooking on an offset too?
Go hit my Weber.
And what are you cooking on?
I'm on the Weber.
You're on the Weber?
I'm on this Weber.
Which one? Oh, the Weber Smoky Mountain. Yeah. The most popular smoker in America.
Now, we'll start this all off with charcoal and stuff. Then once it starts to burn down, then we'll feed it with wood. Wood. Okay? All right, you can put that back in if you want to.
So, Kevin, are you cooking on the offset too?
Yeah, we're both.
You and Steven?
Yeah.
Cool. They don't need really that grate in there, do they? Or are they going to do chicken?
They don't have to. No, they don't have to. But the grate in there,
Just for burnt steaks.
Is, if you want, yes. If you want to
Steaks.
do something hot and fast, like a steak or a sear, perfect. You know, but the only thing is, if you're trying to cook something over there while you're trying to cook something here, when you open the lid up, you lose your heat there.
So you should take that out because we're going to put more.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a little boat here. Okay. So we're gonna fold up the end. We're gonna fold up the side. Why don't we use 2 pieces of foil?
Reinforcements. Didn't break.
You got it, because we got bones, baby. We got bones. Anyway, back to answer your question real quick. It was 165 is what you're really looking to temp them at. Okay, you can go a little bit lower if you let them set for a little while, but 165 is really kind of what you're at.
For the chicken?
You got it.
Okay.
Okay.
How do
So
we know when to wrap the ribs?
These we don't even wrap. We're going by a time. You guys have been on for about 2 hours. Okay, you've been. We started these things. We're running between 250 and 265. Okay, and we're going for a look. All right, so we're going for the bones being pulled back a little bit. Okay, I've got a little bit of flexibility to these bad boys. All right, and it's going to tear. When I go like this, my meat's going to start to tear a little bit. Okay, and these I got to tell you, I hate doing baby back ribs. Baby back ribs are not a big thing for me. But man, they're really meaty. I'm really liking the baby back ribs. I really like the way that they look. But anyhow, so that's what we're after. You're after a little bit of bone pullback, okay, and you're after them to tear just a little bit when you bend them, a little bit of flexibility in through there. All right.
Now,
so
the meat side, you look for the bend.
it is because from the meat side, like when you bend it, like look, see how it's tearing there?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's really what you're after.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's what you're looking for. All right, and these have pulled back even a little bit further. Okay, the one gentleman that we wrapped, Chili over here, that we wrapped earlier, it's because his pulled way back. And so I wanted to get him wrapped before we didn't do that. So, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a little bit of parquet, and I'm going to get this all dirty, which I shouldn't do. All right, should do clean hand, dirty hand. All right, and you're just going to use a little bit of parquet. Everybody goes crazy with the parquet. You just need a little bit of parquet, okay, a little bit of honey. Somebody grab me a rub from somewhere. I don't care which one it is, as long as it's a pork rub. Thank you. All right, a little bit of brown sugar. Okay, and there are various ways to do this. You don't have to do it just this way. We do have those jellies again inside of there that you can do that. You can use instead of using honey, you can actually use agave. Okay, with a little less sweetness to it. I've seen guys use maple syrup. As far as the juice that goes in, we're going to put in apple juice. I've seen guys use apple cider vinegar. I've used white peach grape juice when I'm doing peach ribs. We've actually put peach preserves on them at this point or another in order to give you a little more peachy flavor as well. There's no one right way to do this. You want enough moisture in there that it's not going to burn on your ribs somewhere along the way. Okay, but now's the point where you can add a ton more flavor if you want to add a ton more flavor into your ribs as well. So I normally put a little bit of rub in there as well. Okay, and the other thing that I've changed over the years too is that when I used to compete, we would do this and we would do this bone side down. Okay, but over the years I've been convinced, all right, to do it meat side down. So you're going to lay your meat right inside of there. Okay, and I press it around a little bit, get it in there, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do it on the other side. Okay, for years I thought that would take a lot of the rub off of the meat itself. Okay, it really and truly doesn't. And you can see this rub is really well set on here. Okay, and it really doesn't take it off of there. So we're good to go with that. And I like it when you turn them over, especially because I like a dry rib. So you turn it over and then you use a finishing sauce or a finishing rub on it, and then it just like really colors it up and they're beautiful. And then you use the juice out of the pack in order to just kind of baste them a little bit.
Does your order of operations as far as the stuff you're putting in matter?
Means nothing at all. It all melts in together. So it really doesn't matter.
Eric,
Sir?
the two fellows here were on table 5, table 4. Chicken's rolling.
Yeah. Are they ready to come off?
I gotta get them off.
Okay.
Table 1, yours are all ready. Yes.
All right. So then we're just going to pull up the sides. All right. We're going to tuck in the end.
And we're wrapping our 2 different ones separately.
You are.
Okay.
Okay. Now, back in the day, actually, when I used to compete too, We used to stack them, okay, and we could stack that way. And then you would have actually different temperatures. The one on the bottom always cooked faster than the one on the top. And so you could kind of play with it a little bit and figure it out, because then you would have these different temperatures of ribs to turn them in, okay? And I've even seen people, that's good. I mean, you're gonna put about a cup of moisture in with it. But I've seen people actually triple stack before, which also makes it interesting. The one in the middle is less done than the ones on either end. But yeah. It should be neat, okay? This should look neat. You shouldn't just be like, blah, 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 blah. You want it to be neat because you want to seal in the moisture, okay? I can't tell you how many classes we've had that one or two of the ribs burn, and then when you open them up, there's no moisture in there. And they're like, where did it go? But they just took their foil and went, blah, 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 blah. And so there was it wasn't tight in there in any way, shape, or form, okay? And so you want it to be tight. You want it to seal up. You don't want that moisture to come out of here. My other favorite is when you're doing a brisket or doing a pork butt or something, you've wrapped it. Okay, don't poke it 400 times with your thermometer in order to find out whether or not it's done. All right, because you know all you're doing is making holes, and now you're letting all the steam out of it. We had a guy do a brisket, and his brisket turned out dry, and I looked at it, he's like, I don't understand it. And I looked, and he had like 40 holes in the top of it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't quite get it either. All right, so anyhow, all right, so see how it's nice? All right, it's looking pretty. Okay, and then we're going to handle it like what?
Baby.
Like a baby, okay? Because it's your baby. So you're going to pick it up and you're going to handle it like a baby. We're going to make sure that we don't leak. We don't leak. And then what happens if we leak?
Yeah.
Do it all over again, okay? Make sure you don't leak, okay? Or take at least one big piece of foil and foil it over all again. All right, and then when we set it on our grates, what are we going to do?
Slide it on.
You are not. Okay, we're actually going to pick it up and we're going to set it down like a baby. Okay, on the grates. All right, go do your thing.
Okay, now it's recording.
All right, one at a time, right?
Yeah, one at a time.
All right,
It said meat side down.
meat side
Oh, well,
down.
before you put it down, you got to put your parquet and your sugar and your rub
Okay.
and your honey.
All right.
And you need to go get, and there behind you is that spritzer, so you can use that for your apple juice.
Okay.
Put it back and just put you some parquet down. Well, it's got to come out.
Sealed.
It's
Seth, you don't have gloves on. Can you open this for me?
Yeah.
Capture all that on video too.
of course.
Where's our parquet?
We got it right here.
He's killing it over there.
No, we're
We're
using
opening it.
it. It wasn't even open.
That's probably good enough.
Yeah.
I don't want a lot.
Brown sugar, some rub,
And I don't want it too sweet, so I'm just
and
gonna
I
do a
would
little
use
bit.
that apple cider vinegar,
Yeah.
the spritz.
Okay.
You gotta crumble it.
Steph, am I allowed to open it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You good?
Reach in and grab that.
It's over here.
Grab that spritz behind you and put some of that apple cider vinegar in there. That's good, just to keep it, get that moisture in there. You're creating a warm, moist environment.
Yeah, you can come grab it over here. We need honey still.
We got like a bunch of ribs to do, so
Where's your cooker? You're right behind me. Yeah. Just come over here and.
go ahead, Ethan. What you got?
All right, so we did a little bit of brown sugar, buttery stuff, parquet, and honey on both sides. Some on the bottom, some on top, and the
What'd you
meat
put
side
underneath
down.
it? What'd you put underneath
Same
it?
stuff, brown sugar, parquet, honey.
I thought you put some apple juice under there.
That's true. You spritz it with some apple juice and just kind of give it some moisture, and we're gonna wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
You want to be careful and not make any holes.
How you gonna place it on there, Ethan?
Gently, like a baby.
Wait, is it other way down?
Meat side down.
Oh, I wrapped mine the wrong direction.
I did a weird job. All right, we need more water.
So when you open up your pack, step forward. Okay, you should find a little bit of moisture in there. See, that's got that little bit of moisture in there? All right, so that's what you should find. That's kind of what you're looking for. Like a baby.
Like baby.
We're gonna flip this bad boy over using 2 hands. Okay, and isn't that pretty? All right. And I want you guys to notice, and something I want you guys to notice is that we never really once looked at our ribs, okay? We put them in, we cooked them for 2 hours, we brought them out, we wrapped them, we put them back in for about, what, an hour and a half? All right, and we never bothered with them, okay? That is a big pro secret. Just leave them alone, okay? Make sure that your cooker is staying at a steady temperature, okay? And just leave them alone, okay? The less you look at them, the less you open up the lid, the less you mess with it, the better off your result's gonna be, all right? So this one's pretty enough that actually I'm gonna do this as a dry rib. So I have this a sweet rub from Heath Riles. Now you can use the rub that you put, but you can see this is a pretty fine rub. All right, it's not what I call a finishing dust necessarily, but it's about as close as I'm gonna get at the moment. If you have a spice grinder, you would take one of these, or any kind of rub that you used, you put it in your spice grinder, you pulverize it to a powder, and then you can go ahead, you can use that to finish off whatever it is that you're doing. For right now, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a little bit more on here. Not a lot, just a little bit, tease it a little bit. All right, that's about it. Might take a little bit of juice. All right, dress that up just a hair. All right, and then I'm gonna wrap that back up. Less like a baby this time, because you're not really doing a whole lot with it. I just want to go ahead and I want to do it like that.
Swan.
All right, and bring it up. All right, and hold it off. And then I'm going to let that rest for about 10 minutes or so. Okay, it'll resettle itself. All right, it'll redistribute the juices throughout. With any luck, it'll cool down a little bit. It'll come back together a little bit more, so that way I get the one bite out of it versus it falling apart. Okay, but that's kind of what I'm going for with that particular rib. So let's go ahead. We're going to sauce one, then we're going to glaze one. Let's take a look at the baby backs. Nope, this is a spare too, actually. Let's set the spare off to the side. Let's do a baby back. But again, it's got a pile of juice in it. Okay, not a pile, it's got enough juice to make it happy. That's got to be baby back. Those baby backs are so heavy.
It's funny because they're called baby.
They're babies.
They're bigger than the regular
Again,
ones.
baby pigs.
Handled like a baby.
Like a baby.
You think they're too smaller because they're bigger.
All right, this is going to be a good rack. Okay, so again, got my juice in there. We're good to go with that. All right, gently, I'm going to flip this bad boy over. All right, again, good color to it. It's coming apart. Okay, but that's overcooked, actually. That's going to be a little too much. I need it to come together a little bit. So I'm going to glaze it. All right, we're using a mango habanero glaze. All right, and glazes are essentially just liquid jelly. And I like them because they're a lot lighter than an average sauce, but they pack a pile of flavor. All right, I'm going to let that melt kind of over the top a little bit. And we are going to stick this back on, okay, with the foil open for about 10 minutes or so. All right, but I'm going to let it rest here for just a minute. That one. All right, and then when I put it back on, I'm just going to put it like this. And I'm just going to have it open. We're just going to stick it back on just like this so I get some heat to it. And then that glaze will set itself up so it'll get a little sticky. All right, which is always nice. Allows you to lick your fingers. All right.
So when you remote that, is there any concern about maintaining the juice that's underneath it?
Well, I don't want it to come out anywhere. I mean, I like having the juice underneath it.
Okay.
You know, it still kind of sits there. It still gives me a moist bath underneath it. All right, I don't want it to be dry because especially if I sauce this, where these things are done. This is the one that Roger cut. So this is why I don't. So Roger, when he cut these, you know, he followed that bone all the way down to the point. Okay, now doesn't that look a lot less appetizing than the other one? Okay, now it's not any worse off, all right, but it is a lot less appetizing than the other one was, all right? It kind of comes down, it's so thin. What's that? Get Roger on the phone. But I don't like when they do that. I don't like how it's so thin, and they just cut them so thin. And I like it much better. And it's better if you square them off. Again, you eat with your eyes a lot of times. It's just better if you square them off, I think. And that's my personal opinion. You can do whatever you want with them, but like Craig makes sausage out of the top part, a fair amount, and stuff like that. So if you're going to utilize it, that's great. But if not, just square them off and make them a lot prettier. So, and then this one we'll sauce up. Again, I don't need to kill it with sauce. But to answer your question, yeah, I like leaving the juice in the bottom, because then if you get a lot of sauce or you get a lot of glaze in the bottom, when you put them back on for it to set up, it won't burn on the bottom of the thing. And if it does burn, it'll give you that bitter flavor.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily want that. So, and then when you put your sauce on, you're just going to go ahead and you can thin it out. You can use a little bit of juice with it and thin it out a little bit if you want, if you don't want it so thick. All right, but find something that you like that's got a good flavor to it. All right, and I like thinning mine out a little bit. And when you brush, always brush with the bone. Okay, it makes for a much better presentation. All right, and again, we're gonna put this back on the cooker for about 10 minutes or so, and we're gonna let that glaze up, and then I'll cut these bad boys and you guys can eat them.
Right.
All right, so now Marvin and Don know which cookers can come off and which cookers can't, or which ribs can come off and ribs can't. So I need you guys to get with them. Marvin?
We're gonna walk with them.
Marvin and Don. All right. Hey, Don, I need you out here for a minute. I need you to tell them which ones can come off and which ones can't. All right. So they'll just look at it and go, those all can come off. So anyhow, so grab your pans, double glove, okay, and then come out. And I want you guys to do exactly what we're doing. All right. We still have like 3 or 4 racks of ribs on it. Remember, we're all leaving at the same time. No hurry.
Okay, what do we have here? What flavors? I don't remember. This is yours? You don't remember which flavor you did take a picture of? Well, what do you think of it?
Very nice, thank you.
It looks like it's falling off the bone good.
Yeah, you pull the balls out.
Pull them out. How about you, Steven?
On jalapeno honey.
Jalapeno, which one's jalapeno honey?
Baby back.
Baby back?
That's a little bit more sweet honey.
You got can you break off a piece of that? Is it too hot? I don't want to break it off. I mean, you just want to, oh, that's a big, look at that. Look at that smoke ring on there.
I know.
Man, that is beautiful. Smoke, and this is jalapeno? Jalapeno honey. All right, folks, going in, jalapeno honey.
Yeah, but he'll post it on the thing.
It's more sweet. That honey really, makes it sweet. You don't really have all that. You think jalapeno, you think it's going to be spicy and hot. But that has got a really, oh, there comes the spice. That hot comes on like about 10 seconds after you take your bite. But man, that is good. Look at that smoke ring. Damn, that's a beautiful piece of rib. Absolutely gorgeous.
Sloppy.
So what is this one?
So hang on a second.
He doesn't know.
I really
He
don't.
didn't know what the last one was.
I don't know. Although one's a baby back and one's a spare. Yeah, brush that. Hang on a second. Hold on, we need more juice on there. There you go. Pretty, in a gentle, loving way, like a baby.
Baby, all right, which one of those?
It's been a long time since a baby.
Baby back or?
No, those are baby backs. Yeah.
There you go. We're gonna split it with you.
All right, so that has
look at that smoke ring.
That has Lambert's barbecue sauce on there. Mark Lambert's competition barbecue sauce.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, no, that pulled apart real nice all that.
Cool. Man, look at how it comes off the bone.
That's nice.
The wife and I were
A plus, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah.
Good eating.
So we know how with it.
So what are we gonna go with? Have you made up your mind
No,
yet?
Forbes was supposed to be picking for me, and he didn't.
Got it.
Well, my hands are dirty.
Well, there's a whole bunch of other ones you can go pick out if you
These are
want a
what,
different
Greg?
flavors.
That's a lot of work.
All righty, well,
I've been working all day, so.
let's see what you like. Let's see what you're going with.
I got the Suckle Busters.
Suckle Busters is
Best
great.
in Texas. I think that's what's on this one already, so this is great.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's got there's some
Yeah,
flakes of
All right.
onion and
Yep. And then for this was the raspberry ones. We need to find something fine for that.
There's lots of raspberry sauces.
No, I know, but
That Blues Hog raspberry is amazing.
that's what we have on this one.
Yeah. The sauce, but you're,
Huh? Well, they took
We're gonna do apple with raspberry.
yeah. Oh, I did apple. I did one set of my ribs was apple, the other was raspberry.
We're mixing them in this situation.
So you put yours back on then?
Yeah.
She's just doing dry.
I was told by my people.
You can put it back on.
Oh, I know. I can't leave. I'm gonna keep drinking. It's fine.
Well, take your brush and just lightly
Yeah.
mop it.
Here, use mine because I put the other one on.
Not too hard, just light. You remember
I'm not
softly,
gentle. Sorry.
gentle.
I'm not gentle. Okay. This one doesn't
come out?
Oh, they look beautiful.
Good?
Yeah.
Now, putting them on without
And what you're going to have to do is go home and take some of those and wrap them in Ziplocs and freeze them so
I have
Steve
the- I
can
have
take them
a-
back on the airplane.
I have the what's it called machine. I have the vacuum seal.
Oh yeah, vacuum seal them and then freeze them, and then they can just carry them in their carry-on. They'll have to get inspected by the, but you can actually fly them on TSA. Well, Maddie, those look beautiful.
Thank you.
And you were cooking on the pellet grill, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. I just want to say thank you to the family and all of you that attended this year's 2024 Ribs and Chicken Barbecue Boot Camp. I want to thank you. It was unnecessary, but thank you for the bucket full of rubs and seasonings. They will go to great use. Well, I hope everyone at home enjoyed watching our video today as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. It was such a great treat to have all of our family side by side with us at the Mason Dixon Barbecue Boot Camp, cooking our ribs and eating our chicken and just enjoying being with family. One of the best parts of barbecue is your family and sharing it with your family. And that was the highlight of this video today. So I want to thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe.